I'm Kevin O'Donnell with Bell Trucks America. Today we're here to review the daily startup procedure and basic operations of the Bell E-Series articulated dump truck. Before we start the daily walk around, you want to make sure that your machine is on flat level ground with your dump body down. We'll begin the walk around behind the driver's side fender and steps. At first we will go to the daily inspection chart, which is located on the second step, which will locate your auto lube, your grease fittings, and your fills for the truck. Your auto lube system, you can check it twice. You can check it here visually to see your level of the grease, and we'll also be able to check that from the display inside the cab. To fill the auto lube system, you remove this cap and fill with the grease gun. Another important part to check for your levels on your drop box is underneath. While you're here, you want to also look at your hoses and connections to make sure you have no leaks. All your safeties are marked in red, your articulation, and also one for your bin tip. From here, we'll move to the forward part of the truck. During the daily inspection, one of the things that's critical is tire pressures. As stated on the tire pressure chart, you can check your air pressure at this point. It's critical to have the right air pressure. Too much or too little will affect the performance of the truck. The next thing you also want to look at is the hub to make sure it's nice and dry, there's no leaks. So that's the important part of the tire. From the front of the truck, there's a few points that you want to look. Your two grease points for the hood should be greased every 100 hours. You also want to make sure that your lights are clean, so when they're needed, you will have excellent visibility. You also want to look under the truck for any leaks that you may have. You want to make sure that you do not have the leaks. You want to look at the axles, suspension area, differential, to make sure that everything is clean. On the right side of the truck, you come to your diesel and your DEF fluids for the truck. Bell Trucks is the most fuel efficient truck on the market today. We run DEF fluid only, diesel exhaust fluid, which is called AdBlue by Mercedes. It's important that you top this off every day prior to starting the day. Continuing on the right side, we want to continue to check the hubs and also check your air pressures on all 6 tires while you're doing your daily walk around. As we move to the middle of the truck, we're going to continue to look at the hoses to make sure that they're all tight with no leaks. We're going to look down underneath the cab, again at the axle, for any possible leaks. Next, we're going to move to the rear of the truck, and we're going to check the rear axle for any leaks. Give it a good visual. Make sure that you don't see any oil dripping from anywhere. Driveline, axle, differential, suspension. Again, coming to the back of the truck, you want to check the hubs and the tire pressure. You want to check the hubs again for leaks and make sure your tire pressure is correct. Same with the rear tire. Again, check the hubs for leaks and then your tire pressure. From the back of the truck, the things that we're going to look at is your walking beam, your sandwich blocks, your axles. We'll also check the bolts on the tension rods, your lights. You also have a backup camera, which is standard on the Bell truck. You want to make sure that you have a nice clean lens. You also have the backup lights, backup alarm, and strobe light. Another feature is the bin up lock. This is a safety lock right here in red for when you're working on the truck with the body up. When you enter a piece of construction equipment, always use 3-point contact. 1, 2, 3, and then enter the vehicle. Before you enter the truck, you want to make sure you turn the master switch on. Now that we're inside the cab, the keys for the Bell truck are used only for the doors. At this point, we no longer need the key. You start the truck by pushing the green button once. The display will energize and ask for a driver identification. The driver identification is defaulted to the last 4 digits of the VIN number, and the VIN number is located on the left-hand side, inside the cabin behind the door, on the serial number plate. This truck happens to be 6192. You would enter that on your keypad or sealed switch module, SSM, as Bell calls it. Push 6192. At this point, the system has started. Using the Bell B drive, we would select the E button for the menu. Push and release the menu button. On the screen, you will see diagnostics come up that's circled on the display. Push the round button once on the B drive and release. Diagnostics will come up and your daily service check will be there. As you will see on the screen, you have the engine oil level, engine coolant level, all the way down to the auto greaser level. All those should be marked with a green check mark. Your transmission oil level cannot be checked at this time because it is not up to temperature. We will have to check that at a later point. On your daily walk around, you saw your auto grease level to the left side of the cab on the large E-Series trucks. On the small E-Series trucks, it will be on your right side. You visually could see the grease level there, and this confirms that your auto greaser is working and you are fine. Underneath, you have service info. It shows you when the next service is due. On this truck, the next service is at 100 hours. It did not have a last service since this is a new truck. Your normal service intervals are every 500 hours. So this one says vehicle status, okay. To get back out, you would push the D button on the B drive once and twice. That takes you back to your display screen. At this point, we would open up the hood using the electronic button to raise the hood on the large E-Series trucks. On the small E-Series trucks, they are still manual. They're very well balanced and can be lifted with one hand. Now we will exit the cab and do a visual inspection of the engine compartment. To continue our daily walk around, we're now at the engine compartment. Up here, you just want to give a lot of visual to make sure everything's okay. First, we'll check our windshield wiper solvent, which is good levels now. Underneath that is our transmission check. Up front, we have our engine oil check. Those two will be checked from inside the cab when we do our daily inspection inside. Back here is your fuel filter and your water separator. So everything looks good here. We will continue on to the rest of the walk around. Now that we're back in the cab after checking the engine compartment, we're ready to start the truck. To start the truck, you push the green button and release it. The truck starts. We're going to review the SSM or keypad. Stop button, to stop the truck, you just push and release it, and we'll cover that in a little bit. You have your hazard button. You have your parking brake. We call it the auto park brake. Right now, if you look at the display, it is in the red position of your parking brake. You push and release your parking brake when you first start the truck, or anytime that you start the truck after the truck has been turned off. The parking brake is now in the green position, which will hold the truck back. Even if I put the truck in drive, it will still be applied until it builds up enough torque to release the parking brake automatically. Your next 6 buttons are your thermostatic control buttons. This is your air conditioning, recirculation, fan speed, climate control, and your airflow. Anytime I push a button on the SSM, it will show up on the display. For instance, fan speed is now off. Slow fan, as you can see, it illuminates and will disappear. Your temperature, you can set the temperature and it will maintain that 71 degrees Fahrenheit. Obviously, airflow will change from defroster to feet to face to where you select the proper airflow for you. Number 7 is a rotating beacon light. 8 is your parking lights and headlights. 0 is your work lights, which are above the cab shining down. And then you have heated mirrors as well. Down the side, you have a gear hold, which you would select to maintain a gear to prevent the truck from shifting. All trucks for Bell either have IDL or control traction differentials. You would just push and release if needed, or wait for it to come on automatically. Windshield wiper, you have 4 speeds. Here is your intelligent tipping or I-tip. We'll cover that shortly. The bottom is your retarders to increase or decrease the amount of retardation that you need going down a slope. If you would push and hold, you would set a speed limit for the truck. The speed limit can be controlled by moving the down button to decrease the speed, or the up button to increase the speed. As you move the button up or down, you will see a blue mark on the display to where your speed is set. This is a good feature for quarries or any place that has speed control zones in their job sites. To get out of that speed zone, you would just push and hold the button and it would return to the retarder settings. You have your drive button, neutral button, and anytime you select neutral, your auto park brake will come on and hold the truck from rolling. You have your reverse button, your body up and your body down. These two buttons work in conjunction with the I-tip. With no lights on, you are in the manual tipping mode with a soft stop, which means the body would only go up between 94 and 97%. If I push the button once, hard stop is selected. Now the body would go up to 100%. To make the body dump, I would have to push and hold the button and give it fuel. Once the body is all the way up, I would hit drive, pull forward, let the load clear, and then push the down button and have to hold it for the body to come down. Bell trucks will shift once the body is halfway down, so you will notice it will shift from first to second, second to third, and so on. Your next button is driveline assist, which is a soft stop driveline assist. Now you're in the automatic tip mode. Therefore, I would back up to the dump site, select my dump and let go. It automatically applies the parking brake, puts the truck in neutral, and raises the body at full RPM. Again, once I'm finished, hit drive, push and release the button, and drive off, and the body will come down automatically without me having to hold the button. So that will speed up your return and your cycle times during the day. Another standard feature that is often overlooked on articulated trucks are electric mirrors. With the bell, you can set your mirrors very easily without having to climb in nor out of the machine to set the mirrors. Flip the first switch to the left for your left-hand mirror, and you can adjust the left side mirrors, up, down, left, or right. Switch to the right for the right side. A little feature like that is one of the operator's key highlights that they like. Again, you have your B drive or bell drive. This will also control the center screen of your display. Your display, you have your miles per hour, you have your RPM, you have your fuel level, you have your DEF or AdBlue level. Down below, you have multiple screens that you can choose from. From the beginning, you have engine information. Turn the knob to the right, you have transmission information. Turn to the right, you have vehicle information. Turn again, and you have your counters. This is an important one for the operators because the superintendents always want to know how many times you've tipped, how many tons you've hauled, how long you've worked, and all that is located right here. Now that can be reset very easily. You would hit the E button on your B drive. Up would come your categories. You would scroll one to the left to your counters, push the round dial once and release. And at that point, your trip numbers will come up and they will be highlighted. I can scroll with the dial to each one and reset it by pushing and holding it for 3 beeps. Or I can highlight all of those on the trip, push for 3 beeps, and reset all of them. The totals will always be there. To go back, you would hit the D button twice, to get back to the main screen, and then your trip meter has now been reset. I scroll again to the right, and I have some driveline control information. Another standard feature on the Bell truck is our inclinometer, which measures your pitch and roll. This is important because it's tied to the hill assist, and it's also tied to the automatic dumping. So it is protected when you dump. If you're over 15 degrees, the truck will not dump and it would be red. Another feature to Bell trucks is our onboard weighing. You have 3 separate strain gauges on the truck that measure the flex in the steel and gives you your tonnage. As soon as a bucket of dirt goes into the truck, this screen will show up and it will show you the tonnage that you are hauling. That also reports back to your counters screen and also to the Fleetmatics, which is our telematics program. Your next screen shows your tipping angle, the tip percentage. And that one, as soon as you hit the dump, the screen goes into the backup camera, and at the end you will see exactly what position you are at your tip level. This one is warning lights. If you have warning lights come on, that's where they would be. And your last one is a backup camera that you can leave on at all times. However, when you hit reverse, this whole screen will become your backup camera, as I will illustrate right now. There's the reverse and there's your backup camera. As I mentioned before, with the inclinometer measuring the pitch and roll, you have the body design right there. If I'm backed into a position over 15 degrees, that would be red, and on the screen would say unsafe to tip for rollover protection. To get out of gear, all I would do is hit neutral. That puts me back into the neutral position. My parking brake is still applied, and I am in a safe spot right here. You also have an emergency stop. If you should have a failure with the hydraulics, brake line, whatever, you press the emergency stop. Emergency stop is active. That puts the truck to a idle position. Automatically applies retarders at full strength and applies the parking brake, and will bring you to an abrupt stop. When you're finished, call your dealer to have them check out your parking brake at that point. To turn off the trucks properly, the sequence is very simple. Push and release the stop button quickly. Once it's pushed, you will have a turbo spin cool down, which will last between 5 to 25 seconds, depending on how hard the truck is worked. After that, you cannot turn off the master switch. It's counting down from 60 seconds to 0, and what it's doing now is taking the DEF fluid through the system and returning it to the tank. At the end of that 60 seconds, the backup alarm will beep 2.5 times, which will indicate the completion of the shutdown system. At that point in time, you can then turn off the master switch located outside the cab. That would complete the shutdown sequence. Now that we're set to go, the first thing you want to do is set the seat to maximize the operator comfort. Your first button is the air dump valve. We want to make sure that that is pushed in at the top, which will increase the air and raise the seat to your comfortable position. Your next one is an air suspension valve, and you want that in the down position. That minimizes your upward travel. In the up position, you now have a lot more upward travel, and you will be bouncing along your road. So it's important to keep that in the down position. You still have full air, but you're limited to the travel upward. Your next one is your air inflation. to set the seat where it is most comfortable for you at the proper height. Again, that one sets your air. In the back, you have 2 lumbar supports. Your 2 lumbar supports, again, for comfort, upper and lower lumbar. Just push it, and that is your lower lumbar, and it will move to where it is most comfortable for you. And same with the back one, which will raise it to the upper part of your back. Again, there are 2 of the adjustments for the operator for comfort. Down the opposite side, down through your hip, on the right side of the seat, is a toggle switch for a heated seat. For people up north in the wintertime, it's a very nice option. It's either on or off, and you will know it. With that, we'll go to the front and show you the adjustments to the front of the seat. From the front of the seat, there are 4 more adjustments that can be made. The first is a switch which will dampen the seat from rocking forward or backwards. In that position, the seat is stable. In this position, the seat will rock. Your next switch is for lengthening the seat. This way you can have a little bit longer extension. And your last one is a tilt to tilt the seat to where it's comfortable for the operator. The final is the bar to slide the seat forwards or backwards. Once you have the seat in position, we will then adjust the steering wheel. Once you have your seat configured to what is most comfortable for you, the next item is the steering wheel. We have a fully adjustable and tiltable steering wheel. Push the lever at the bottom and tilt the wheel to where it's most comfortable for you. To adjust, you can also slide the steering wheel in or out and then tighten the knob. We also have a multi-function switch which acts as our turn signals, right, left, high beam, and horn. Another feature of the Bell truck is a 3-point harness seat belt. Operators always need to fasten their seat belt. One of the main reasons, other than safety, is the Bell truck will not go over 2 miles an hour without the seat belt being fastened. Again, fasten, push the button, and release. We also have adjustable armrests on the seat that you can adjust to where it's comfortable for your arms. Seat belt, fasten, armrest down, drive, and we're off. All Bell articulated trucks come standard with a jump seat. All you would do is lift, and the jump seat is in place. To put the jump seat down, lift, pull toward you, and release. Again, lift. Jump seat also has a seat belt to fasten, button to release, lift, pull, and release. And the jump seat is put back in its neutral position. Another nice key feature with the Bell truck is a completely flat floor. Very easy to brush the dirt out of the cab. You don't need a shovel, dustpan, something to scoop it out. It's completely flat, very easy to clean. Also, we are standard with fire extinguishers, which is mounted in the front left-hand corner. If you have any further questions, please refer to your operator's manual, which is located in the front basket on the left-hand corner. If you have any further questions, please contact your local dealer.